Alright, hello guys. I thought I'd just do a quick video on my kitchen knives. So, I don't think I've done actually almost any videos on any of my kitchen knives or what I do, and I've made a hell of a lot of kitchen knives. In fact, most of my knife making came from making kitchen knives, and you know, this is one of my finest works right here, which is a completely hand laminated Damascus core. It's not really Sanmai, but the Damascus starts here. I don't know if you can see it. So all of this is iron, and then here it's steel onwards. So I sandwiched the Damascus inside basically an iron handle and stretched it out. Nice thing with that is that I could harden the entire blade, heat treat it, and I could still drill holes in the handle later. And actually work on the handle after the steel has been heat treated. But so this actually was in a competition, a Finnish kitchen knife making competition, and after that it went into the Finnish National Museum of Hunting Museum or whatever for like almost a whole year. And it started off as a 13-layer billet that I stretched out and laminated on a coal forge by hand, and I used like the katana folding method, and it got to 832 layers. So super nice kitchen knife. It's got a peculiar handle, but it feels really good in this configuration. So this is more of a showpiece, you know. I might actually end up keeping that knife for myself, but it motivates me to make more, you know, and to do high quality work. You guys have probably seen this model on my social media. I've made a lot of these, which is the Yakut style kind of kitchen knives, utility kitchen knives. So the Yakut, spelled Y-A-C-U-T, the Yakut kitchen knives. These are awesome. I love these. And part of the reason, the main reason why I invented this design, the main reason why I invented this concept and this design is because if I'm gonna make, I don't get it, like every time I'm filming something, there's gotta be like, some device has to make some sound, or some pop-up has to show up on the screen, or something like that. Anyway, so the main reason I invented this design, this concept of a kitchen knife, is for two things. One, I wanted this tip. Two, I wanted single bevel. And three, I wanted, you know, if I'm gonna make kitchen knives and I'm gonna continue doing this full-time knife making job, I'm gonna need a design that is my own, that I can perfect, that no one else does, right? I need to stand out, I guess you could say. And with this particular design, nobody else does this, right? So I can focus on this, perfect it for the next 50 years, make thousands of these, and be like the only one in the world, you know, the originator, the guy who's master designed it. You know, as I get better and better at making this design, there's going to be more and more variations, and, you know, as time goes on, you know, it's going to be associated with me, and you know, others will try and copy and learn from me how to do it, and it'll be a way for me to also teach knife making to other people, because it's very difficult to make one of these. When you quench it, you need to move it like an ore through the quenching medium, so to resist it from warping, because this shape that it takes from the forging actually kind of encourages it to warp. Now this is my stainless, so this is actually a prototype, this one, so I just did a quick, I was just testing different stages of assembly and manufacturing, so it's got kind of like a rough finish, but the idea with this one was just to test some Japanese style finishes on the blade. This is stainless steel. I got a massive box of stainless steel blanks that were from a local manufacturer. They decided to, they wanted to make, they wanted to produce stainless steel, like salmon industry knives. And they went through the whole process of cutting and heat treating this very, very hard, very, very high-end stainless steel, only to bring it to one of the service that offers surface grinding, only for them to tell them like, yeah, sorry, we can't grind this. This is too much for our machines. It's gonna destroy our machines. This is way too abrasive resistant. This is way too hard steel. So they basically ended up with like $20,000 worth of metal that they couldn't do anything with. And the guy who was behind that project, he disappeared. No one heard anything from him ever again. So he left all his stuff in a place, and the guys that own the place like, look, dude, this is all yours. Come and pick it up. We got a whole bunch of these blanks here. There's like a couple hundred, like I don't know, like 400 blanks. So there's actually many models, but one of them, it's this one, and another, it's a Honosuke. So I got a Honosuke, and I got this profile of kitchen knife, and this is really, really nice. I love this shape for a kitchen knife shape. I really, really do. It's just so nice. I can use the tip. There's very little metal on the tip, so you know, and for cutting fish, for doing all sorts of work, it really is quite nice. I don't like all these smears here. So I did a Japanese style finish on these, and this is so that you can sharpen these bevels to reduce the thickness behind the edge using coarse stones over time. There's a different finish here. And as you can see, another thing that'll, you know, make me stand out is that inlay here. So the original blank itself, there was a few design faults. There was quite a few design faults, and the tang is super difficult to work with, and they all have a hole right there. So I filled it in with some metals. I was thinking of getting some gold bar and then filling that in with gold, but either way, it's not a strength problem. It hasn't been an issue. I've made, I don't know, 60, 70 of these type of kitchen knives, and there's never been an issue with that. And what I used to do is I used to have a rivet lock there, so I could clip it into sheaths and click it out. So I'm gonna put this one away so it doesn't. So yeah, and this is the latest one. I made this one yesterday. It's super duper nice. The ash handle here, this is stabilized ash with black dye. This is a stainless steel ring here. It's a dowel fit, so you can't go wrong with this design. This is really like, this is my favorite design really of the kitchen knives. I like forging kitchen knives, but it's a hell of it all work. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the stainless steel is such a huge benefit, especially these modern stainless steel like this one. You know, it's like 2% carbon. It's like 20% chromium, 4% vanadium. It's like these, you know, super ultra, you know, powder steel, whatever the heck you want to call them, but space age, you know, stuff. So it's kind of hard to, yeah, you need a custom belt grinder and custom belts, and you need a, you know, a water cooling. You need an immense amount of water cooling. You wouldn't believe how much water I use to grind these. I mean, it's like 100 liters of water, more, maybe almost 200 liters of water just to grind each one of these kitchen knives. So I got a pump running, and it's cold water too. You know, you're in the workshop on your grinding machines, and you're wearing a whole waterproof outfit, rubber boots and a plastic apron, and just a whole setup. I mean, you have to grind this stuff to the maximum quality and maximum edge retention, and to keep the belts clean and to reduce all the dust. There's no dust in the workshop when you grind with that much water cooling. Then there isn't much more to say about that. I can give you guys the dimensions on these. Let me just dig them out here. I might be able to get them off my head. The spine thickness is 1.5 millimeters. The weight on this one is 130 grams. This one is 115 or 110 in that region. The overall, let me just dig up. Let me just dig up this data. Yeah, so the height here is roughly 44 millimeters. The overall length is 330 millimeters. The handle on this one is 125 millimeters. I didn't measure this one, but you can see it's like a centimeter shorter. The blade length is from here to there, it's 20.05. So I didn't actually measure what the space is here, but whatever. And yeah, 130 grams. So the blades are pretty much all identical from the lab. It's super high-end stainless. Unfortunately, I don't know the type. I've asked them a couple times and like, yeah, we're gonna look through the papers, blah blah blah, and get back to me on that. But either way, there's no problems with this steel. It's got a ridiculous amount of edge retention I've never seen on any of these carbon steel knives that I use. It's much more than the 115 CRV3 Hitachi equivalent kitchen knife carbon steels. This edge it's pretty ridiculous, the steel. So just from testing and playing with it, and the customers, they're coming back just for this steel. So it's some type of air hardening super alloy, whatever you want to call it, steel. And you know, of course, the wonderful part is that it's stainless, and that's really where the beauty is in all this. So more are coming. I'll make more videos on these. You can go check more out on my Instagram from a couple years ago. I made a lot more of these. I used to do some mirror polishing, but the problem is with mirror polished kitchen knives is that the mirror polishing is super sticky. Everything sticks to it. So yeah. And again, going over how these are sharpened, right? So there's a couple things you can do, but mainly you put this bevel, I'll use this one. You put this bevel straight on the stone itself to bring down the thickness behind the edge. And as you're doing that, you will see these the finish wear off into a stone finish. And as you do that, the knife gets better over time, it gets smoother over time. And the finish, this type of grind, allows you to see where you're working that stone, where you're working that blade. So that's going to be really, this is a much higher finish on this one. This one was a prototype. I was just going through the steps. I wasn't aiming to do anything specifically clean with this one. So just so you know, so there's no confusion there. You grind those bevels down, and then you clean up the edge and you put your micro bevel on there. So it's a classic Japanese style of doing it. I think it's the best way to do it. It maximizes the life expectancy of your blade. You get the most out of it, and you don't have to deal with all the problems of you know, those traditional chef knife grinds and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys again later tomorrow or something.